What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to share with you what the future of this channel is going to look like, and it's going to be quite a bit different than it has been in the past, and I'm going to explain why. I want to start by saying that the world feels in a weird place. I hop on Instagram and the majority of the videos I'm seeing now are AI. I feel like there's very low motivation. Everyone wants an easy button. We're all stressed. We want big results with little inputs. And it's just kind of a weird time. It just kind of feels like everybody's dragging a little bit and struggling with their own stuff and not as motivated to invest in real estate or think about the future. On top of that, I just think everybody wants the easy way out. They think there's some big business or big investment that's going to be a quick fix for their problems and have an immediate huge return. I've realized that nobody wants to cold call. Nobody wants to go and knock doors. Nobody wants to put in the effort or energy of marketing and a lot of these other things that are required to be successful. And a big part of it is I hear people say, well, AI can do that, or big corporations are going to beat me to it, or there's just not a chance for me right now. And there really is a cynical vibe that I'm picking up on. It's also really discouraging as a creator because it seems like clickbait gets the views. It seems like a lot of just the garbage content is where all of us are putting our time. When it comes to going and seeing an actual property walkthrough, seeing a negotiation, seeing the things that will actually help you take the next step, people aren't as interested. Where the cars, the big houses, the travel, the big exotic grand, those are the things that when I do post stuff about that, they go substantially more viral. I can post a video about this phenomenal property with an incredible return and the steps to be able to purchase it, and it'll dive. Where alternatively, I can post a video about buying a new exotic car and it 10x's in the views and the comments and in the watch time and all of that. And it's kind of a weird thing being a content creator because it kind of makes you jaded or manipulates how you view things. And there's this real pull to make more of the car content or the house content or the what I'm spending my money on rather than what actually helped me to get where I'm at and what's required to be able to get there and to help other people to get there. I think this can be really frustrating because I really love making the content about how to actually invest, how to manage your money, how to find the right property, how to buy it, how to manage it. And the car content is fun and cool, but it's not as much me. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it as well and that I didn't look forward to being able to buy the cars and the house and the travel and these things that we all look forward to. I think all of us have our goals of, hey, once I make this, then I can purchase this, and that's the end goal. That's the exciting thing. So I understand why the views are there, but sometimes as a content creator, this dynamic gets frustrating and even discouraging. I guess what I'm getting at is I've hit this crossroads where I really struggle to know what kind of content to make because I just didn't picture myself being this person at 34 years old that was going to be making a lot of content showing off these flashy things or the things that I've worked really hard for a long time to get to because it just doesn't feel right. And it's tricky because at the same time, it's really fun to go and goof around and to show these things and to share these things and to see the views coming. And so I guess what I'm saying is I've had a lot of inner turmoil with what direction to take the channel, what kind of content to make, and what to do next. I think the other reason I've really been torn is after all of this work with sales for 12 plus years and taking all of that money and investing, I'm in a place where I have all the things that I want and need for me and my family and the ways that I want to give back in my community and my extended family. And that is all provided now with the real estate that I've purchased. And so there really isn't a need for the YouTube channel, especially not with the risk that comes with it. As I've sat back and looked at it, I have kids now that are in school and other kids notice and say things about the videos, and that has an impact. I also have people that notice me in public when I'm with my family, and that's really cool, but also there are dynamics to that with safety, with liability, with other things that have really made me have to ask myself, is creating content the right thing to do? Especially, the content I'm creating, is it the kind of content I want to be putting out there at this point in my life? There are lots of days where the risk, the liability, the stress, I've even seen some influencers that they say or do something, whether they meant to or on accident, that ends up causing lots of problems for their family, lots of kickback, lots of issues, and can potentially ruin them in some ways. And again, I think a lot of this can be mitigated, but there are just lots of things that I've been thinking about with my children, my family, the situation that we're in, of is it worth it to continue to create content? So over the last little bit, I've taken the time to sit down and just write out the pros and cons and figure out the reasons that I'm making videos and the reasons that maybe it would be worth stepping away and being done with it. And as I've looked at it, I think this started as a hobby. I just wanted to make videos to help friends and family that were interested in how I'd invested in real estate and show them how to do it. And then it became addicting. It was really fun creating something and helping people to invest in real estate. And so right now, I think the biggest reason that I do it is I love the community that's been created. I started the Creative Cash Flow Club just this year, and that has been so fun. I think in a lot of ways that is been part of what's jaded me towards making YouTube videos is all of the people that joined that community are super motivated. They're willing to take action. They're buying deals on a consistent basis. They're coming to me with, questions that I can answer and help them work through, and negotiations that I can help them to pivot and come back with the right things and get deals under contract and get deals closed. And that has been so fulfilling. And it's been a really small community. I mean, we're right around 200 members in that community. And so I'm getting to know people individually. I'm getting to help them. I'm getting to see them grow and progress. And so that is one of the biggest things that I've loved about creating content is it's provided me an opportunity to get to know people and to help them through their problems and situations. On top of that, last year, I was able to throw the first ever CDS retreat, where we came up to Idaho Falls. We went and showed people all of the properties. Well, not all of them, but a lot of the properties we've bought. We showed them renovations we were dealing with. We showed them issues we'd run into and additional expenses on renovations, but also renovations that had gone well and properties that had done well, properties that hadn't done so well. And we were able to talk about all of that. And I was able to get to know them. We went boating. We went to some of my favorite restaurants. We went up and stayed at the cabin. We went to a rodeo. We just had this extraordinary time. And I got to actually connect with people. And I know that that had an impact on them, but it also had a massive impact on me to give me more motivation, to double down, to do some of the things that I had done that I wasn't doing as aggressively now. And so that piece of it and being able to connect with people even more closely at an event is something that has been so incredible. I think too, releasing the real estate investing course years ago and having people come to me after taking the course and saying, Chandler, I've bought 10 units now, or I've bought 15 units, or I've bought 20 units. That is the thing that gets me excited to get up in the morning. Something, just being able to see people ecstatic about having invested in creating cash flow and providing for them and their families and getting to a place where they can step away from the job that they don't love and still be able to provide for their family and build something incredible and give themselves more time to get to their kids' sporting events and to go and do their hobbies and to spend time with family and to just create something that will forever impact the life that they're able to live. I think you can hear it in my voice, but it's this part of YouTube and Instagram and social media in general that I just love. And I think the reason that I've become jaded is I get these experiences that are only provided because I create content on YouTube and Instagram, and I'm able to connect with these people and find these kinds of people that want to come to these events and be a part of this community. But the actual creating of the content and the liability and the negative comments and the time and attention to videos that I care about that then don't perform well, they're all of these things that make me jaded towards it. And so as I've struggled with this, I've really been torn at what to do next, at what this next portion of my life looks like. And I would say that being completely done with YouTube has been a very real possibility. But again, as I sat down and wrote out these pros and cons, I think the biggest thing that hit me is sometimes you have to bite down on the mouth guard and do some things that are frustrating or are hard or are difficult to get to experience those highs. You have to take on risk. You have to take on liability. And So as I've gone back and forth, here's where I've kind of landed. I've realized that there is a certain kind of content that I just love making. And a lot of times that content is the content that doesn't perform quite as well. There's also the clickbait, viral, exotic, whatever it may be content that I know is always going to get clicks and views that I'm not saying I'm never going to do again, but I really want to pivot the channel to where I'm just being a little bit more real. I'm showing the problems that we're facing in apartments. I'm showing the issues, the difficulties, and I'm trying to, create content that is just focused on giving me the opportunity to interact with people like I have in the community and at these events, and to find more people that will come and be a part of those things that have become most important to me. So here's where I've landed. I'm not going to make content just to make content. There are going to be a lot less videos just regurgitating information and a lot more videos of walking through properties, of showing the issues we're having in the properties. There's probably going to be less car content, less flashy content. And when I do that content, I want to take a different approach to it, because there are certain videos that when I see them, they haven't been me, and that's something that I want to be different. I want you to see that I don't know much about cars, and that I found a couple cars that I really love and think are cool, even though I'm not that much of a car guy, and show how they've impacted life and what it's like to drive them, and why I don't drive them a lot of the time because of the nerves of it, but also because when I'm going to look at a property or meet with someone, it's not the right car to roll up in for those kinds of negotiations or interactions. And sometimes driving these cars, if I'm honest, to certain settings makes me uncomfortable. The majority of my life, I'm either in a pickup truck to go look at a property, or I'm in a Suburban with my kids in the back going to do something fun. I also want to be really careful to protect my children and to navigate how we're going to do that, but really focus the channel on helping people not just to invest in real estate, but to invest in themselves and their family and the thing that matters most. I think as I look at the community, and especially as I look at the event last year, people came to learn how to invest in real estate. They came to solve problems in their business. But what they stayed for and what became the most valuable to them was having other like-minded people in a similar situation to them, that they could talk about their family, that they could talk about the work-life balance, that they could talk about, the struggles of trying to be extremely motivated and find properties and create a good future where you can have time to spend time coaching your kids and time with your wife and family, while also not jeopardizing those relationships because you get so hyper-focused on the next deal or work or whatever it is. It was so crazy how at the event, I thought it was going to be all real estate, and the majority of the big takeaways were on family, on personal life, on health, on these things that really are what matters. And I think that also hit home hard of, we don't invest in real estate just for the real estate. We invest in real estate to create a life for ourselves so that we can put the majority of our time and attention into the things that matter most. So, am I going to be completely done with YouTube? No, but I do think that the content is going to look a lot different. It might be spotty, and sometimes when I actually have deals that I'm working on, there's going to be a lot more content. I think it's just going to be a lot more real, because there are some weeks where, for literally weeks at a time, I'm just focused on my family and sporting events and fun, and right now the summer. And there are other times where I'm doubled down, putting in a lot of hours, finding deals, closing deals, putting them together, and I feel extremely motivated in those situations. I think the only place I want to be very, very consistent is in the Creative Cash Flow Club. And if that's something you're interested in, to be able to come and interact with me literally on a daily basis, to have trainings and insight from people that have really helped me along the way and other people that have absolutely crushed it in real estate, to be able to rub shoulders with other people that are bringing deals, to have access to me and my team and other people where any of your questions, concerns, difficulties, whether that be real estate investing, friends, family, whatever it is with your business or your life, where you can go and ask those questions and get good, quick insight. That's where I'm going to be putting consistent time because it gets me excited. I love it. And that's something where I can be up at my cabin an hour before we're going boating with the family, and I can hop on and do these calls and respond to questions and comments and help people when they're trying to close these deals for them and their families, while not really intruding or interrupting with the lifestyle that I want for me and my family. I also want to let you know that we are going to be doing another CDS retreat this year. It's going to be September 6th through September 8th. And last year was absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to be sharing some of the insights from people that went to the event and their reviews over the next little bit and some of the videos. But that experience was so phenomenal, and I'm so excited to do it again this next year and to make tweaks and changes in ways that we think we can make it even better. We're going to be doing another property tour, but we're going to spend a lot more time going and looking at specific renovations, how we're able to increase rents in certain areas, some of the problems and difficulties that we ran into, so that you can see real life examples of what I'm going through in a lot of different ways with these different properties and how I was able to acquire them, deals 10 years ago, but also deals just in the last couple months that we're going to be going and touring and seeing. And, we'll see some renovations that aren't done. We'll see some that are done and finished and that have been rented. And so you can get a touch of that. We're going to be going boating. We're going to be hanging out at my cabin for a couple of days, eating great food, talking, getting to know each other, helping each other work through whatever issues you have in your business with real estate investing, with family, with life, with all of that. And so if that's something you're interested in, make sure that you message me on Instagram, because those spots are going to fill up really quick. I think that's the other thing is I've thought about doing 2, 3, 4, 500 people events. And I just don't like that because I don't get to interact with you. And so we're going to limit this. I think with the cabins we've only got 40 spots in total. Last year we had a little under 30, and so we got another cabin right next to mine. So it's going to be a blast, and we'll shuffle people around. But if that's something you're interested in, make sure you reach out on Instagram, because I imagine those are going to fill up quick. And this is the first time I've even mentioned it. The last thing that I want to introduce is, because I was struggling for content, and struggling with the content I was making, I decided I wanted to do something more for me, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But I'm going to be going and reliving every deal that I've purchased. Now, I tried to start a series like this, it's probably been 3 or 4 years ago, where I go back and look at properties that I had purchased and go through them. What I'm going to do is I've reached out to my management company, and every 1 to 2 weeks, I'm going to actually schedule an inspection with tenants in there, and we're going to go and do a walkthrough tour of the properties. We're going to start at my very first property that I purchased, and we're going to go all the way through until we get back to current deals. I also have a lot of deals under contract right now. I'm planning on going out to Cleveland to tour some of those properties, so we might bounce back and forth between the deals that I'm doing now and the deals that I have bought over the years, but I will label them different on YouTube. And again, stuff like that makes stuff not perform as well, but I like the idea of it just more feeling real, more feeling like something that you can watch in order. You can see the first deals that I bought and the issues that I ran into and what I did wrong and what I wish I would have done different. And you can see the mistakes I'm still making and the successes we're finding in the deals that we're buying right now. But I will label it so that you know in order the series, because the deals I'm talking about now, once we get to the end of the series, we'll come back and look at those and see how they're performing. I don't know how we will label that, whether it's in the thumbnail or the actual title, but we'll just label them in order, which will hurt views early on, but I hope you guys enjoy being able to say, hey, I'm curious, when Chandler got to this point where, say I have 0 deals, what was his first deal? All right, now I'm at 10 units and I've hit a little bit of a roadblock. What was Chandler running into at that point in time, and what's he doing now? So I'm really hoping you guys will enjoy that. That got me excited because I don't have to think as much about what content we're going to do. I'm just purely going to share a recap of those properties while also sharing with you the actual deals that I'm dealing with. And that way, when I don't have deals I'm working on or don't have problems or don't have issues currently, I'm not going to go to some generic content. We're just going to go through the properties and the things I've learned in those experiences and let you see where they're at. And I think that's the other thing I'm really excited about these is I'm calling my property manager and I'm saying, hey, We have 1 week. I'm going to be there. I want you to send me the rent roll on this property. And I'm sure we're going to find a lot of units that maybe need rent increases, that maybe have been mismanaged. I mean, this is just stuff that happens. And so it's going to give me a great opportunity to audit, to see what we're doing wrong, to make corrections. And I'm going to be transparent with all of you on those things as well. So I think it should be super exciting. Now, I have gone on forever, but I want to do more videos like this where I can just kind of talk to the camera and tell you what we've got going on, what our plans are, what our struggles, difficulties, how I'm feeling about things, because these are the kind of videos that they aren't painful to make. They're enjoyable for me. Hopefully they're not too painful for you to watch. And if you guys have suggestions of stuff that you think aligns with kind of the direction I'm wanting to take the channel, that also gets me really excited. When you say, hey Chandler, we'd love to see this. This is something that we want to know about. I think that really helps for me to look at the comments and go and make videos about those things that are just part of what I'm working on. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you remember to like, subscribe, hit the little bell, or not, whatever you're feeling. And I'm super excited to see you in the future videos. And if you're one of those people that is interested in joining the Creative Cash Flow Club, or interested in coming to the event, we are going to have a discount for the first couple people that join the event. I don't even know what that is yet, but message me on Instagram and we'll hook you up for being early. And if you want to join the Creative Cash Flow Club, we did raise the prices because our initial sell ended, but I just love having people in there. So if price is an issue for you, I guess honestly real estate might not be the right place anyways. But if it's more like, hey, I'm uncertain, I'm unsure, I want to invest, I just don't want to waste my money on anything, message me on Instagram. I want to work with you because my end goal with this community is just finding people that I can help to get into deals. That's what's exciting, that's what's motivating. But the whole point of charging for these things is when you pay attention. And I've done the free groups and communities, and man, the difference between the free communities I have done in the past to this is night and day. I mean, I'm getting to know people on an individual basis. They're on there on a consistent basis with their problems, their issues. They're actually doing the thing, which is what gets me excited. And so if you want to be a part of that, I've put the link down in the description, or you can message me on Instagram, but we'd love to have you come and join that community as well. Thanks so much, guys, and have a great day.